So at that point, as a gambler, I mean, what do you got to go to these like bullshit casinos and try to break their bank without them knowing? I mean, how do you?
You can't though, because great question. You go to a let's say Imperial Palace used to be, now it's Link. They won't take those limits.
Yeah.
Your limit will be 5,000 a hand or 10,000. So you can't even do what you want to do there. I was betting my average bet on a hand was like 40,000.
What game is that?
Baccarat.
Wow.
I played blackjack, but I got cut off almost everywhere in blackjack.
Okay.
So I had to stop and start playing something where they had the edge, which is, I still love baccarat because I'm a degenerate. But the truth is, in baccarat, I was playing 300,000 a hand. That was my max every 35 seconds. And it was wild. Yeah. And I brought my team in. I bring an entourage of my friends, give them a bankroll, get them credit lines so they could. That's how I would get the limits higher. Because at the end of the day, once you're cuffed on your limits, that's why Vegas has limits, right? Let's be real. You could have a guy who's worth $5 billion walk in that place. He'll never lose if you have no top end limit. All he's going to do is bet 100,000. He loses, he's going to bet 200,000. He loses, he's bet 400,000. He's just going to keep going until he wins 200, whatever amount he wants to win. But he has unlimited bankroll.
Is that kind of like those guys, because I sometimes go down rabbit holes and I watch those casinos in like Maku, where they go there and these Chinese guys are betting. They're like, one guy, I remember he broke the casino, won like $250 million in the,
Sure.
You know what I mean? Because like you said, he has a bankroll, but he knows the numbers, and those, a lot of those Asian guys, they bet big. They go, especially in Baccarat, that's
their game.
Oh my God, they go up there and they're betting astronomical numbers.
I've been to Macau. I've been to Singapore.
How's that, man?
It's wild. Their limits are higher. Singapore is bananas. So I don't know if you've ever seen that casino. It's got like pillars and the casino's up top. It's beautiful. It's in
Is that the one owned by that one Asian guy? He's like the Donald Trump over there. He's like balling out of control. He owns a couple big casinos in Singapore, right?
Correct.
I forgot his name.
If you ever watched the movie Crazy Rich Asians, that casino is in there. I've been there many times. It's beautiful. They have it's the biggest casino I've ever seen for table players in baccarat in my life. And I've been to Macau too. It's got a lot of this too, but massive money. Everywhere you walk around, you got guys betting 200,000, 300,000, 400,000 a hand.
God.
Nothing like Vegas.
Wow.
Vegas will cap most people. Singapore is the real deal. Macau,
next level over there. People only have no clue, huh?
No, everyone gambles, so it becomes more, normal as opposed to here. Not everybody gambles, right? In the U.S.
What are the backgrounds of people who are like? Because it's got to be like some type of competitive nature. Because like you said, it's a adrenaline rush. It's an endorphin. It's like you're not, you're most likely you're not into drugs. So this is like a drug. So what type of where are these people from? I mean, is this different backgrounds or what type of?
Yeah, it is, but it's all the same. You said it best. It's competition. People want to beat something that is so hard to win at. Number one, and like me, I can't bet on myself being an NFL quarterback because I'm not good enough to be an NFL quarterback. So that's why I like to bet on sports. I love sports and I love the action.
Oh, okay.
I love the dopamine rush.
Okay.
So since I can't do it myself, I'll bet on who I think I can handicap and figure out who's better. Same thing in baccarat. Guys who don't even like sports, that's what they get. They can kind of bet on themselves to a degree. They can't control the cards, but you can control how much you bet. You can money management, and you get that dopamine rush that is unlike anything in the world. I don't care what anyone says. I won $3.5 million on a craps table in 40 minutes. Best feeling in the world. I mean, you're rolling the dice, and I have literally $1 million on the line every roll. And you're just praying a 7 doesn't pop up.
How many people were around when you were throwing the dice?
That time, I had a private table. It was just me, my wife, and 2 of my friends. But I've been at tables where you can't even move.
I mean, what is that like, though? Just like when you won when you're rolling the dice, I mean, dude, I'm nothing like that big, just in the hood shooting dice and licking dudes, and then dudes want to shoot you because you took $5,000 from them.
Right.
I've been in shit like I've never played big time Vegas because but what is that, dude? What is that feeling? I mean, $3.5 million. When you win, what do you do, man? When you like?
Well, and to be truthful with you, I was in the Dominican Republic when this roll happened. I had a $2 million credit line, and I had $88,000 left. I walked up to the table because they wouldn't give me an extension. It's called a TTO, which is basically a temporary extension for the trip. My credit line was maxed. They had me buried, so they're like, casinos.
Shit, so you were in the hole.
I was in the hole, 1.912 to be exact, right? And so I was fired up. I was pissed. I was whining like a little bitch, fucking whining my wife, and sitting here going, fuck, man. Because once you're like, as a gambler, actually the money I was upset about, but I was more upset that I couldn't gamble anymore because I had 88 grand, and to me that's one hand. So I know if I lose a hand, I'm going to be sitting around this beautiful island, miserable, because you don't care anymore about how beautiful the island. Everything's covered. It's all free. I could sit there and drink more pina coladas they can make.
Yeah.
It's all, it's comped. But I won't have any fun, if other than just sitting around thinking about the $2 million I'm down. So I'll just leave. So I'm like, you know what? They're not going to give me an extension. Fuck it. I'm just going to.
So you weren't even worried really about the $2 million you were down. That wasn't the secondary. That was secondary thought to the fact you couldn't gamble again.
That's correct.
Wow.
The truth is, when you're a real gambler, all you want is action. You want an opportunity, because we've all done it. Every gambler has been stuck in this big hole and gambled their way out. That's what keeps you going back. Don't get me wrong. You've been stuck in that hole and you buried yourself 10 times harder and worse, many more times.
Yeah.
But you always remember that recovery, that moment where you, just like I'm describing to you, this is what we're talking about, right? I'm not talking about when I buried myself, went home, owed $4 million, didn't have it all, because we can get to that next. But the point is, I had literally $88,000 left, down 1.912, in the Dominican Republic, miserable, just want to go home. So I walk up to the dice table, and I just spilled the $88,000 across the table. The sad part is, if I would have had enough bankroll to start, I would have won another $2 or $3 million at least, because I had to build up the numbers to get maxed out. So the entire table was maxed out after about 7 or 8 rolls, because I hit the pass line. I used that money to bet every single number, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10, etc. So I wanted every dollar and every number as much as possible. Then I'd bet a come bet. It would go to that number. I would win that bet and then use that to put the odds on that come bet too. So I was betting as much as I possibly can. As they call that 2 ways to the number. So every number was maxed out. I couldn't bet another dollar on the table at one point.
Wow.
Unless I bet a prop bet like, Big Six or those. I don't bet that shit. So long story short, then I rolled the dice. 42 minutes later, 3.5 million. I rolled a 7. $1 million gone. That was off the table. I still had 3.5. I paid the $2 million, took the 1.5, and we went home. I mean, we enjoyed the rest of the trip. Don't get me wrong, but I shut it down. And that's the type of thing that those moments is what sucks you back in.
Yeah.
Because you think you could do that every time, or more than you can.
How hard is it to shut it down though?
It was easy at that point. I'll tell you why.
Okay.
I just knew I was one roll of the dice from being busted, owing $2 million, going home like a little crybaby, and now I have $1.5 million. I might have took $100,000, just fucked around with it, but I had a number. I had locked up I think it was 1.3 actually. I was going home with that no matter what, and because I at least had that discipline, right? Like, because you would love to gamble, and now I have all the trips covered. I beat these fuckers. I mean, it's a war, and I was down. They wouldn't give me more credit, so they actually pushed me to be like, I wanted to motherfuck them at this point. I wanted a piece of their ass. That's the way I looked at it.
And while you're gambling at that level, you have simultaneously, you're checking, you're like, you got your online stuff and it's making money every day.
Yeah, that my business was, it was fantastic. I mean, to me financially.
Yeah.
Of course, it's put me in the position I'm sitting today, which is possibly going to prison and, in massive turmoil. So I don't want to misrepresent it, but it was very good to me for a long time. But, I'm dealing with the consequences now. But yes, my business was very lucrative. I ran it very, efficiently. I had it down to a science. I mastered it over many, many years. And I knew that the income would always be on my side, just like a casino, because that's really what I was. I had an online casino in Costa Rica. I had cameras on dealers. They were dealing cards, blackjack, baccarat, all of it. And the cameras are there, so it was live. Because, people, when you play an online casino, it's not live, they think you're cheating them. So I took that out of the equation, created a card room, literally with cameras on it. So you can play on my platform, and you could pick the table, you see the card being dealt, you see the lady, she talks to you, hey, Big Herc. You could literally, you chat to her. I mean, they're not going to sit here and have full conversations, but they acknowledge you, so it's real. And they deal the cards right in front of you.
Well, it seems like, as far as in that game, because you're not really out in the streets, so you're not really a face, you can kind of remain anonymous. If you're running the business, you can pretty much run it until you get ready to retire if you're not really out there. What's the biggest thing that exposes you to the point where you get caught up in a situation like what you're in now?
I was flamboyant. I was flying on private jets with $3 million every few weeks and gambling at the highest levels. That clearly is going to get more eyes on you. And to be honest, I didn't really hide what I did. I was raided in 2014 by the FBI. They came and grabbed the money. never was charged. I signed an abandonment form and released the money. And in that form, it basically stated, by signing this, they're not going to charge me with any crimes, and I can't hire an attorney and go after it. And it was like to me, I thought it was a kind of a get out of jail free card. And actually at that time, that's when they asked me about Owen, which I told them about. But anyway, long story short, they took my phone and computer. I got it back within like 4 days. And that night I went out and got my phone back, literally bought a new phone, turned it right back on. I was operating within 2 hours.
So for them, it's more than, it's a shakedown.
That was a shakedown.
We want our money, It's like, oh, okay, we did the numbers, and we want this back. You owe us this much.
Yeah, and it's funny, when they came, it was March 14th of 2014. I'm sorry, March 25th of 2014. And they made a comment to me, they being the FBI, it was HSI. They said, we're not here for your taxes because I just paid it. Like, they saw it in my bank account. I just wrote a check to the IRS. So they knew I was paying taxes. Clearly now, like I sit here today, I have a tax problem. I wasn't paying the right amount of taxes. But at that time, they weren't sweating it because I was paying taxes. Now, that being said, the investigation I have now is completely different. The numbers are 10 times higher because now you're fast forwarding it 10 years later. And the numbers were huge.
Yeah.
Really big. But it was a shakedown. I think the value of me at that time to them wasn't worth a full federal investigation. I'm just speaking out of my opinion. They did grab a chunk of change, just under $1 million, and I think they were satisfied with that. And at the end of the day, I wasn't fighting it, so
yeah,
I was happy to sign the money over and just move on.
Wow. And as far as I know you had some pretty high profile clients, and we've kind of talked about it. Is there like a lot of athletes, or do you find they kind of get caught up also not necessarily betting and on their games, but also getting involved in that action? Because we've heard about like Dennis Rodman owing money. We've heard about Barkley. He said he had to quit. And we heard about Jordan, of course, one of the biggest. And I read a story where he, in this restaurant in Chicago, underneath they had a basement. They were gambling down there, and the one guy said he was a rookie, and he messed around, and he lost like $200,000. He's like, dude, that's my rookie signing bonus.
Oh,
like, he's like, I'm busted out, and he's dealing with these mob dudes like, dude, we want our money.
Yeah.
Like, you lose, but hey, dude, next Wednesday, he's like, yeah, we want cash.
Right.
No checks, no, bring our money here.
Sure.
So they're at these tables gambling.
Right.
So, I mean, what is your whole view on that?
That wasn't a problem for me. I never really had any trouble getting paid from any athletes or celebrities.
Okay.
Truly, I had many problems with people, that weren't celebrities and athletes because I had much more of those clients. I was fortunate. All of the celebrities and people I had betting with me, athletes, they always paid, no issues. The only thing I would do is work with them on if they're traveling, guys on the East Coast because he's playing in the game or doing a concert or whatever. No problem, just get me when you get back. I mean, we had that relationship, but I didn't have that problem because the truth is what you're describing and what happened back then, that's like the Jordan days and mob days, kind of has been gone the last 10 years.
Okay.
Because of, obviously now there's cameras in every corner. The mob's kind of dissipated to minimal, right? They can't get away with half of what they used to, and therefore the game has changed. So now in California especially, there's a lot of bookmakers in California, and if a player doesn't pay, most of them just walk away because what are you going to do? You're going to rough them up and risk your whole business.
Yeah.
You got to at the end of the day, I learned, believe me, Owen and I, we had some interesting, meetings with some people when I was younger. I used to be a lot better, bigger shape. I was young. I thought I was, in the UFC when I was young. I thought I was this badass motherfucker, which I wasn't, but I thought I was. So when someone owed me money, I had no problems going to their house and knocking on their door and, talking to them in person. And I feel like when you show up at someone's house and you look them in the eyes and say, hey, you owe this money, we're going to have a problem, which led to a problem for me. I had a guy pull a gun on me in Fresno, and I was shitting my pants, but he wouldn't know it. I told him, you better be willing to use that fucking gun, because you're going to put one on me, you're going to have a big problem unless I'm fucking dead. And he ended up paying, literally, the next day. But he tried to negotiate and this and that, but it's all in my book, by the way. But moral of the story is, like, if I let people get out of control, it's partially my fault. I have to vet the customer. I need to be responsible about not giving too much credit. You have a guy who works at the post office, he makes 70 grand a year or whatever, and you're giving him 70 grand in credit. What he makes in a year, I mean, that's on me. That's my fault. Now, the problem is they lie. Every gambler does, because they're going to tell you what you want to hear to get the gambling. And you have to really, you become almost a psychiatrist, truly. And because I was such a big gambler and I put myself in those positions throughout my life, I know exactly what they're thinking. And I always tell them, Big Herc, man, I know how you feel. I gamble bigger than most. I've been there where I can't pay. I've been there where I got to, swallow my pride and say, hey, I'll be honorable, I'll make payments to you, but I need some time. Let me do some maneuvering and let me figure this out. That's okay. It's the guy that says, go fuck yourself, or dodges the phone calls, or goes dark on you. That's a problem.
I know, talking with Owen, he said usually the biggest deterrent or kind of like incentive is if these guys are married and you send the wife some flowers and he's like, oh, I got these flowers. And then the guy's like, oh, you see my wife? Says, yeah, next time we're going to tell her what you owe, because that's as bad as cheating.
Right.
You get caught like, you mean to tell me you lost, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And it's like, so dude's like, hey, man, just don't, please,
don't tell
man.
my wife.
Yeah, that's like the biggest thing to kind of make it do without having to, say I'm going to bust your legs to get them paid. Because that's like, nobody wants that to be exposed.
Even worse, what about you show up at their office? They work for a company, and you got a guy who looks like, he's not normal.
Yeah.
Outside with, tatted up, or looks like he's been in
What
prison.
is this guy doing here?
Yeah, asking questions. I mean, that handles stuff really quick too.
Yeah, yeah.
But either one of those things.
Yeah, workplace or home, like something like that.
Yeah, they're just uncomfortable. And sometimes it does take that just to make people realize, okay, I gotta take care of this, And then sometimes they'll still tell you to go fuck yourself. And, if you choose to escalate it, then you're an idiot as a bookmaker, because all you're doing is you're asking the FBI to come visit you and tear down your whole operation.
And have this guy wear a wire and set your ass up for something crazy.
Yeah, I mean, and let's be honest, most of the time you just got to run the guy's phone nowadays, and every bookmaker, even if you're changing your phones out or whatever, the information's too easy for the FBI. They're going to catch everybody with this stuff now.
Now, was there anybody in particular, like guys who you knew, like, this dude, man, I just don't want to take his action. He's just like, this guy right here is always killing it. I mean,
Absolutely.
like there's guys that, like we talked about before, certain guys come into the casino and they don't even want them to play cards because they feel like this guy's got an edge.
Right.
We don't want your business.
Yep.
So there are guys that like really knock you upside the head, like, yeah, this guy can't. He's fucking killing me, but he'll let you. Because Owen said he used to win, but let guys win sometimes just to make it feel important.
Correct. They call them sharps. So they're professionals, and they're literally less than 1% of the world that knows how to do this. These guys are mostly teams. They're running algorithms on games. They're running it down like 1,000. They simulated the game every which way you can imagine. You'd be shocked, Big Herc, that most of them look like nerds from high school that have never watched a sporting event or even played sports their whole life. But they're brilliant. Half of them are probably.
They did a movie about it. Remember those guys who went to, and they had a team. They were from like
21. MIT's from
and sent them out to casinos, and they were killing it.
No different. Okay. They're doing it in sports too.
Wow.
And what they do is they love bookmakers, and I'll tell you why. You go into a casino, let's say, sportsbook, DraftKings, whatever. You start betting with, these guys start betting. They pick them off really fast. So because they see that here's what's happening, the spread on Alabama State versus frickin' Georgia is 48. And when these guys bet it, now it's gone from 48 down to 44. It's literally, they move the line like 4 points. And the reason why is they're sharp. So when they bet it, the systems know these guys are so good, they'll take the bet on purpose so that they could see the right side of the game, and they'll move the line so the public will be on the wrong side of the game. So they use them as a source. They only give them small limits, though.
Okay.
We used to do the same thing. When I was in the business, I would take a sharp, knowing he's going to beat me, knowing he's a pro. It's the cost of business. Let him win 20, 30 grand every couple months. But at the end of the day, I get the information. I get to see what the sharp side of the game is, the pro side. And I can go determine if I want to go bet that somewhere else. You follow me?
So use his game, even though you take a lot, but you could flip that into a benefit because you're using his knowledge.
That's correct.
That's smart, man.
Yeah. The problem is, here's where you get in trouble. He bets it at the same example, plus 48. I go bet it, now it's 46, because the minute they bet it, the line moves.
Yeah.
And then the game ends up at 47. He wins, I lose, because I'm late to the ball game, so to speak. And when I say late to the ball game, it's seconds. The minute he puts the bet in, the line moves. And throughout the whole country. And I was betting so much so much throughout the country myself that I was moving the lines as a pro, even though I wasn't. Because when you're betting massive dollar amounts, they got to move the lines. Because they want, again, as I explained to you earlier, they want two-sided action. They don't want all the money on one side of the game, because if that game wins, they're exposed to all that money. They being bookmakers, right? So like, you know, that's why bookies lay off. They don't want, even though they think they have an edge, and they probably do, they don't want that exposure of one game. You'd rather have the volume. Just like a casino, same reason they don't take these massive limits. They want to box you in. So over time, they're going to beat you.
So even if they lose in, like, say, baccarat or something, they won it on the floor based on these other guys just throwing money away.
Yeah, exactly. Like Dana White, great example. He bets really big in the casinos.
He's big.
He is.
Yeah,
he wants to bet $1 million a hand, just like I did. I always asked, let me bet $1 million. They wouldn't let me. They won't let him either.
Well, he said he got kicked out because they said he won too much. Was it Cosmo? Was that Cosmo? One of the big casinos. He said he won like 3-point-something million.
Yep. Yeah. The reason they cut him off though is because he spot plays. So he's smart. He'll come in. He'll try to win 1, 2 million, 3 million, whatever the number is, and he quits. And he lives there, so he doesn't care about the rooms and this and that.
Yeah.
He's all business. So he goes in there to beat them, and he doesn't give them the hours. So the edge is actually reduced so drastically.
Oh, because you're not stuck there.
Yeah, you're not playing for 12 hours in a trip. That's why they want you to play 4 hours a day at whatever average bet you make. They want roughly 4 hours. That 4 hours is where they're favorite. You know, they become favorite. Like the edge is minimal if you play 20 minutes. Think about that.
Yeah, you're right. You know? Yeah, you're in and out.
Yeah, I mean, you could win 3 hands at big money like Dana White. He'll sometimes walk in and bet 3 hands, win them all, and leave.
He's baccarat too.
He plays actually blackjack.
Blackjack.
He plays baccarat too. He does, but he's a blackjack guy.
So I mean, your limits on blackjack's gotta be crazy though.
Well, limits are smaller.
That's what I mean. So you gotta be playing like multiple hands. Or?
Yeah, I play 3 hands. I can play 50,000 a hand. You play 3 hands, and truth is, if you get splits, doubles, and everything, it could get ugly quick though. I've had shoes. Blackjack's the fastest game in the world. I mean, because of that, right? Splits, double downs. Like, I've had $1 million swings on the table, even though I started betting $50,000 on bets because of the splits. And when I say swings, you might have $500,000 on the table, but let's be real. Once you put the $500,000 in the circle, they're going to have to match it if you win. So that's $1 million. Whatever that card they flip over for them to bust or whatever they have, it's $1 million because now your money's on the table and their money's on the table, right? So when you bet $500,000, it's $1 million swing. You have to think about that, right? That $500,000 is gone, and you know it's out there, exposed, and they're putting up their $500,000. So whatever that card they flip over, sometimes it's a 6 and a queen. And you're just praying it's obviously a 6 or higher. That's $1 million swing.
So did you also play poker?
Not really. I played in the World Series of Poker about 15 years ago. That wasn't my game. It's too boring for me.
Okay, because I was curious about that because you're not playing against the house when you're playing poker. You're playing against other people,
right?
And that's more of like to me a more me versus you. I got my glasses on. You're over there. This guy's over here. So we're all like kind of like trying to cut each other's throat, and we're trying to see what's the giveaway. And like
they're reading each other. Yeah,
because like. I just watched that where Phil Ivey, remember he went to London, picked a certain, like I want these bicycle cards.
Yep.
He brought the Korean girl in with him.
That was a baccarat.
Killed baccarat, killed him, and then they're like, they couldn't let it go, so they kept studying, and she knew what to look for.
They saw that, they could see the card. No, they could see the
way the cards are cut, right?
Yeah, they could see that one of the cards. That's what it was. They could see through the card. That was the system he had.
He was gangster with that.
He was, and they didn't pay him. They didn't pay him.
No, I remember, because they were like, we're not going to pay you because we wanted something didn't add up. Because they said the way he came in, because remember, he won, and then they're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, what he did is he requested them to lay the cards out a certain way. That was abnormal.
Wow.
And the reason he did that was he could see through the card. So he could see what the card was. And obviously that's...
Was it because of the markings he said? He could identify the way they were cut? Dude, that's ingenious, bro. That's a gangster move.
The guy's listen, he bet with me for a little while.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. He's amazing guy. Like, smartest guy out there for poker especially. And everything he does is definitely an edge. He's an edge guy, for sure. Yes.
Yeah, I mean... Dude, when I seen that and I'm like, watch, I'm like, and they broke it down and then they didn't want to pay him and then they're like, he brought in this guy. I'm like, dude, this dude, he He came in there with, dude, that's what you're supposed to, I mean, dude, you guys are busting everybody's head. Let me come in here and
100%.
bust your head.
No, listen, it's an edge, man. He had an edge, and that's their fault. I think it's criminal that they didn't pay him.
I think so, too.
I mean, at the end of the day, they took the action. Had he lost, you think they would have called him back?
You're
and
right,
said,
yeah, you're right. You're right.
Like, come on, man.
You're
I mean, yeah, he outsmarted you. So just pay up. But no, they didn't. And I think it was total BS. I mean, I give him credit. I mean, that was a brilliant move he pulled off and just got screwed by not getting paid.
You know, one of the kind of like, I guess, infamous gamblers is Bazarian. Did you ever play poker with him?
Never played with him because I wasn't a poker guy. And he, brilliant guy too. Clearly did really well.
Yeah, very sharp.
Now he's selling his how to date women on Instagram and how to get girls, which he's doing seems like pretty well, which is kind of cool. But I didn't run in his circle because of the poker wasn't my thing. The problem with poker for me is it's too time consuming, and I needed a quicker action. You know.
Okay.
And also poker is a grind. Like you got to sit there and you got to play for hours on hours and hours. I didn't have the time or want to spend the time doing it.
So your whole thing is like put it in and just wait. Watch the game unfold.
Yeah.
It's like the hands in God. You go,
I was more instant gratification, which is, a downfall in my life because, it pushed me to, succeed, but it also, when you want it fast, usually trying to make money fast or do things too fast, usually there's something gray in it or, you're always overstepping the boundaries or, there's a fine line of like instant gratification.
Well, even, being a bookie, I mean, how many kids, I don't know too many guys who grow up, hey, I want to be a bookie unless you know someone. That's not like your typical, to me, I look like, how did the guy know about owning a gas station? You got to know somebody.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're not just going to, oh, man, you didn't know. There's families, they're connected, they got to hook up somebody. It's like there are certain fields in life where it's passed down through family connections or contact.
Right, network.
And so how did you even get into that? Because, in school, I remember I did a little bit. I was taking bets, and I said, these guys that know the spread, so I would cheat on the spread and take their money. Like, damn, how you always winning? And I'm like, they lost so much, they stopped betting.
You ran away your customers.
Because, I had to let a guy win one because I'm like, because he wouldn't pay attention, and I changed the spread by 2 points.
Yeah.
And these guys aren't looking I'm looking at the newspaper knowing, so